Every gamer remembers their first game. One match, one victory, one late night that turned into many. But behind every high rank, every winning streak, every all-night session, there's a story almost nobody sees. This is the life of a gamer. Level 1. Finding the game. It starts with curiosity, the way most hobbies do. A friend recommends a game after school. A cousin hands over a controller for just one round that never stays just one round. A free app shows up on a phone with nothing else to do on a bus ride home. At first, it's nothing more than entertainment, a way to pass an hour that would have otherwise passed anyway. But every level completed quietly asks for one more. A boss fight that almost worked becomes a reason to try again. A win against a stranger online feels sharper than a win against a friend on the couch, for reasons nobody quite explains. By 12 years old, just one game has quietly become a small daily habit nobody remembers agreeing to. Not a decision so much as a drift, one enjoyable session at a time. Then something bigger happens. A voice chat, a Discord server, a squad of usernames that starts feeling less like strangers and more like teammates. For the first time, there are people 3 time zones away who know this student's callouts better than half their actual classmates do. Some of those friendships turn out to be sturdier than anyone expected from people who've never met in person. The bedroom starts changing too. A cheap headset replaced by a slightly better one, a mouse pad that actually fits the desk, a small poster from a favorite game taped crookedly above the monitor. None of it feels like a big decision at the time. It's just what happens when a hobby quietly becomes a favorite part of the day, one small upgrade and one new online friend at a time. Level 1. Finding the game. Age, 12. Hours played, week 1, 3. Friends online, 12. Win rate, 58%. Level 2. The grind. By early high school, the game stops being just a game. Ranks matter now. Leaderboards matter. A single loss turns into one more match to fix it, and one more turns into 5, and 5 turns into a night where homework never actually gets opened. Sleep gets shorter. 4 hours, sometimes less, and it barely registers as a sacrifice because the next match always feels more urgent than the next morning. Energy drinks pile up on the desk. Classes get sat through half asleep, replaying the last ranked match instead of taking notes, the teacher's voice fading into background noise behind the memory of a match that should have been won. And then, without any single dramatic moment, the joy just quietly goes quiet. The same maps stop feeling exciting, the same arguments in voice chat stop feeling worth having. 46 hours logged, and somewhere in there, what used to be an escape has started to feel disturbingly close to a job nobody's paying for. Friends outside the game notice before the gamer does. A group chat invite gets declined for the 3rd weekend in a row. A sibling knocks and gets a distracted 1 sec that turns into 40 minutes. None of it is meant unkindly. It's just that the ranked match in front of them has started to feel more urgent than almost anything happening outside the headset. Level 2. The grind. Rank, Gold 2. Sleep, 4.3 hours. Hours this week, 46. Enjoyment, 32%. Level 3. Leveling up in real life. The turning point isn't quitting, it's noticing. A morning without a controller in hand feels strange at first, then oddly clear. A gym session gets added, awkward and unfamiliar, followed a week later by another one that doesn't feel quite as awkward. Homework gets open before midnight for the first time in months, not out of guilt, but because there's suddenly room in the day for it to happen. Room that was always there, just quietly occupied by something else. Gaming doesn't disappear from the schedule, it moves. 2 hours instead of 8, scheduled instead of endless, something to look forward to instead of something to escape into. The desk gets reorganized. Daylight starts reaching the monitor for the first time in a while. Study time climbs. Sleep climbs back toward 8 hours. And the number that used to matter most, rank, starts mattering noticeably less than it used to. Old teammates notice the change, too. Some drift away, still chasing the grind the gamer just stepped back from, still online at 2 a.m. on a school night, the way this student used to be. A few stick around anyway, happy to play 2 relaxed hours on a Saturday instead of 6 competitive ones on a Tuesday night. The friendships that survive the shift turn out to be the ones that were never really about the rank in the first place. Level 3. Finding balance. Sleep, 8 hours. Study time, 3 hours. Gaming, 2 hours. Balance, 87%. Hidden truth. Here's what almost no gamer plans for. Nobody sits down intending to spend thousands of hours on a single game. It starts with one match, one recommendation, one free afternoon, and the thousands of hours accumulate quietly, just one more at a time, until the total is something nobody would have agreed to up front if it had been presented as a single decision instead of thousands of small ones. There's a second truth buried in there too, one that surprises a lot of people who've never gamed seriously. Some of the strongest friendships in a teenager's life get built entirely without ever meeting face to face. A teammate 3 time zones away who shows up every night, who remembers a bad week and asks about it, who feels more reliable than some people met in person. That connection is real, even without a shared classroom or a shared last name spelled correctly in a yearbook. And a third, quieter truth sits underneath both of those. The line between healthy hobby and unhealthy habit almost never announces itself. There's no single match, no single night where a gamer could point and say, that's when it became too much. It happens gradually enough that the only real way to notice is looking back, months later, at how much of the calendar the game had quietly taken over. Reality check. Here's the part that gets skipped in most gaming is bad narratives, and most gaming is fine actually narratives too. Balance isn't a setting you switch on and leave alone. The pullback toward just one more match doesn't disappear the day someone decides to change. It shows up again during exam season, during a bad week, during a new game release that everyone's talking about, during the exact kind of stressful night when logging in feels like the easiest possible relief. The habit that built 46 hours a week doesn't get deleted. It gets managed, actively, on weeks when managing it is the last thing anyone feels like doing. And burnout, once it happens, doesn't always fully reverse. Some games that used to feel exciting stay a little duller than they used to, even after the balance comes back. That's not failure. It's just what recovering actually looks like. Not a return to exactly how things were, but a new relationship with the same hobby built with slightly more caution than the first one had. Parents and teachers who worry about screen time aren't always wrong either, even if the way they say it lands badly. Somewhere between gaming ruins kids and gaming is completely harmless sits the actual, less quotable truth. It's a tool that can build genuine friendships and real skill, or quietly swallow every free hour in a week, depending entirely on whether anyone, including the gamer, is paying attention to which one is happening week by week, rather than assuming it will sort itself out on its own. Ending reflection. Years from now, most of the specific matches will be forgotten. The exact rank, the exact leaderboard position, the exact win streak everyone bragged about that season. Nobody really remembers those. What stays are the late-night laughs over a bad strategy that somehow worked, the impossible comeback everyone still brings up,
the teammates who started as usernames and somehow became real friends. The gamer finally understands something that took years and thousands of hours to learn. It was never really about winning. The headset still hangs on the monitor, the setup still lights up most evenings. None of that had to be given up. It was about making sure the game added something to a life, instead of quietly becoming the whole thing.